Welcome back to our channel where we update the most dramatic, thrilling and surprising episodes of the TV series Beyond the Gates that you definitely cannot miss. If you love the suspenseful developments, psychological shocks and the revelation of dark secrets between the closest friends, stay with us until the end of this video. Because what you are about to hear will make you shocked and unable to take your eyes off the screen. Doug once thought that he understood everything about his life. About the close friends who always stood by his side, especially Joey, whom he considered a blood brother, growing up together, sharing all the joys and sorrows, hardships. But what happened recently has completely shattered Doug's entire worldview. He could not have imagined that, right in the middle of that seemingly peaceful life, there existed dark corners. Secrets that had been hidden for so long that when exposed, they would cause all trust, friendship and safety to collapse in the blink of an eye. It all started on a seemingly peaceful evening like any other, when Doug received a call from Vanessa, his girlfriend who had always accompanied him over the years. But in her voice, there was a panic and extreme fear that made Doug know that something serious was happening. Without hesitation, he rushed to Vanessa's apartment, a place he once thought was a safe place. A familiar space filled with love and trust. But everything had changed. When Doug entered the apartment, an unbelievable sight met his eyes. Joey was standing in the middle of the living room. In his hand was a cold, black pistol, reflecting the faint light from the ceiling lamp. Joey's face was completely unfamiliar, his eyes were cold, empty, and filled with hidden danger that Doug had never seen in all the years they had known each other. The gun in Joey's hand was not just a weapon, but also a symbol of the collapse of all the trust that Doug and Vanessa had once had in their seemingly harmless friend. Doug stood there, frozen. His whole body frozen in the face of the harsh truth that was revealed right before his eyes. He had thought that he understood Joey, that there was no distance or secret between them. But it was all just his own excuse. Joey now revealed his true form as a completely different person, carrying within him terrifying dark corners, dangers that he had never anticipated. The presence of the gun, Joey's cold expression made the entire space heavy, stifling like a storm quietly gathering, waiting to erupt. Vanessa stood trembling beside him, her face pale, her eyes filled with panic and deep disappointment. She told Doug everything that had happened before, things that they should have realized sooner. But their subjectivity and blind trust had delayed them. Vanessa said that over time, Joey had begun to show unusual signs. He was often anxious, easily angered, and his eyes evaded when asked about work or relationships. But the climax was when Vanessa discovered a gun in his bag. All the suspicions she had had for so long were cruelly confirmed. Doug was silent as Vanessa recounted every detail. He could not understand what had caused Joey to change so much. Had they been too naive all these years to believe that everyone was like they appeared, that their friendship would never be invaded by darkness? But the reality was crueler than they had imagined. Joey, the friend they once trusted, once considered a relative, was now the source of danger. The one carrying a weapon that could take anyone's life in the blink of an eye. The atmosphere in the apartment became thick, tense like a stretched string, just waiting to snap. Doug could clearly feel every heartbeat beating erratically in his chest. Every passing moment was a massive fear. He looked straight at Joey, trying to find any familiar image left. But all he could see was a cold face, soulless eyes as if he had been completely swallowed by darkness. Vanessa continued to tell that, not only the gun. Joey's recent shady actions made her shiver when she remembered. His unexplained disappearances in the middle of the night, his furtive phone calls, his increasingly blatant lies. All add up to a portrait of a Joey who was completely alien, terrifying, and dangerous. Doug was silent in thought. Each old memory appeared like a slow-motion film. He remembered the afternoons when the group sat drinking beer, laughing together, promising a bright future together. But all of that was now just a distant past, covered by the darkness of betrayal and imminent danger. Doug blamed himself for being too trusting, too blind to recognize the warning signs. But there was no time for regrets now. Doug knew that he had to stay awake, had to find a way to get Vanessa and himself out of this dangerous situation. A small mistake could cost him his life. Doug looked back at Joey. The gun in his hand still glinting with cold metal, a reminder that friendship can sometimes turn into tragedy if the truth is hidden for too long. Vanessa stood close to Doug. Although still trembling, her eyes gradually regained their determination. Both of them understood that they could no longer consider Joey as a friend in the same carefree way as before. Naivety and blind trust had led them into this precarious situation. Now, only courage, alertness and determination could save them from danger. The atmosphere was heavy. Each passing minute seemed to drag on forever. Doug silently calculated every possibility, every step, every plan had to be carefully considered to avoid making the situation worse. He knew that Joey was being torn apart internally, between the remaining humanity and the darkness that was devouring his reason. Doug realized that what he was facing was not just the gun in Joey's hand, but also the consequences of subjectivity, of forgetting that people can change, can hide their true nature behind a perfect shell. Joey was no longer a friend, but had become a real threat. The memories of their friendship, of times they overcame hardships together, now only made Doug more painful. He told himself that he would not let personal emotions cloud his mind. Protecting himself and Vanessa was the top priority. Doug clenched his fists. Feeling every drop of cold sweat running down his back, he knew this was a life-or-death moment, a turning point that would change everything in their lives. If you want to continue to discover the darker secrets, the dramatic details that have never been revealed in Beyond the Gates, don't forget to click the subscribe button and follow our channel. We will continuously update you with the most shocking developments. Join us so you don't miss any moment of this fascinating movie.